Hi, today I'm going to talk about shoulder rest. We all know what the shoulder rest look like and what it does, what's the function of the shoulder rest. But I still realize there are quite a couple of students, in fact, there are many students who do not know how to properly fix a shoulder rest, use it, and make full use of the shoulder rest to help you in your practice and in your playing. Well, it is something that can help a lot. Okay, there are different type of shoulder rest. This is the most common type. Well, of course, you will see the student type, which is a collapsible, foldable. That is for you to keep in the case easily. But there are this type that is unfoldable, which is in the fixed solid wood. The legs are not foldable. Well, you can choose either one for convenience. It doesn't really matter. Um, well, it does matter when you're talking about sound because a solid wood shoulder rest actually will give you a better sounding. But that apart, we will talk about that later when we have time. Um, I'm not going to talk about quality of the shoulder rest and all that. I'm just going to talk about the function of it. Okay, so whether foldable or solid wood, unfoldable, it serves the same purpose to help you support your violin more comfortable. And there's this type of a shoulder pad which I tried using and tried it on some of the students, and I find that it can be useful, but it is not that useful actually. I strongly um, discourage using a shoulder pad like that unless necessary. For example, really a shoulder rest is causing a lot of problem on your shoulder, giving you rashes and things like that. Then you have no choice but seek other alternative. But why I say it's not useful is because basically this pad goes behind your violin this way. It hook up at one of the corner, and then the other end will go into your tailpiece this way. All right, and then basically it serves the same function as a shoulder rest to fill up the gap between your shoulder and the violin. Okay, it works that way. But why I said it's not useful and I discourage using that. Now look very carefully. It actually covers almost almost a quarter of the violin. I would say maybe one sixth of the violin or even one fifth of the violin. Now, it does dampen the sound, and I've tested with the pad and without the pad. It actually dampened quite a bit of the sound, causing the quality of the sound created from the violin not that clear. That is something that you wouldn't want it to do. So I would strongly discourage using a shoulder pad. Well, if you really do not want to use a shoulder rest and afraid of this slipping out, I would suggest another alternative using a towel, a thicker towel, not a cloth. This is just a cloth. I'm just going to show you how it works. Put it on your shoulder, and it does create some friction, and it won't slip off so easily. Okay, that is another alternative. Now the towel will just be touching part of your violin, just on the contact part, but not the entire, just like the entire pad touching it. It doesn't dampen that much. So a towel is a better alternative than a pad, if that is provided if you do not want to use a shoulder rest. But again, as a beginner or a learner, I would still prefer you to use a shoulder rest before you try out not using a shoulder rest. Okay, now as you can see, a shoulder rest actually is a created in an S shape. Let's talk about the positioning of your shoulder rest and a little exercise that you may want to work with your kid. We see this curve. It actually follows the collar of our shirt and the collarbone. Okay, it should rest comfortably this way. Okay, and I realized some of the students actually put it wrong side. Now, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. Okay, it has to be this side. The bigger curve on top, or rather, the wider part of your shoulder rest on top of your shoulder. That create this contour along with your collar, and because this is lower, It gives you support on your upper chest over here. That will fill up the gap between your violin and your upper chest. Now, before you want to fix onto the shoulder rest to your violin, I would suggest doing this exercise. Place your shoulder rest on your shoulder with the curve following the collar here. Okay. It should sit very comfortably on your shoulder with your shoulder straightened, and it shouldn't drop. But for younger kid, their shoulder is smaller, they may drop, so you may want them to hold it for a while this way using their right hand to hold it. Okay, they may feel, just to feel the shoulder rest is resting on top. Okay, just do this exercise for a couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, and make them feel that the shoulder rest should be sitting here comfortably and not touching your neck and not any part of your skin. It will just be in the middle of your shoulder here, following the collar. Now, where do we fix the shoulder rest? I'm just going to put it on top. If you follow my lesson very from the beginning, I always suggest your violin is 45 degrees away from the center line of your body. As you can see, I'm just placing it on my shoulder rest. I'm going to hold it and flip it around to show you. Okay. Okay, the shoulder rest should be somewhere at this angle. Alright, the top part. It follows the contour of your body, remember just now? Okay. So you just hold it there and we slide it down, creating a slightly angled from the widest part, the corner, so-called the corner, the roundest part of your violin, slightly angled down. Okay, not flat. We don't want to put it flat, slightly angled down. Now this is limited by my chin rest. I'm going to show you another violin that will give you a better angle. Okay, it should be this way, at the roundest part of my violin. Okay. Now, your shoulder rest should go back to the same position where you did your exercise just now. Now, can you see this gap is filled up? I'm going to show you. It is very comfortable now. It's filled up the gap between the violin and my upper chest, and also the gap between my chin and the shoulder. Without the rest, I'm going to show you without the rest, how does it look like? Without the rest, you see there is a gap. So students tend to strap their shoulder to hold on without the rest. Okay, can you see the gap? This is the gap that the shoulder rest is helping you to fill up. This is the gap that the shoulder rest is helping you to fill up. Okay, so again, oops, my shoulder rest get tangled with my wire. Okay, again, I'm going to teach you how to fix it. We turn it upside down, holding the widest part or the rounded part of your violin. Secure with one hand and slide the other side down. Okay, it'll give you a slightly slanted angle. Remember, the wider part is on your shoulder, the narrow part on your chest. That is how it should be. See the gap between the violin and the gap between the shoulder and the violin. Okay, you fill up the gap, and you don't have to lean towards it, you don't have to press towards. All you need to do is turn your head slightly, not tilt. Now I always emphasize this. There is a difference between turning your head and tilting your head. Okay, when we hold our violin, we actually press it slightly underneath our chin here by turning our head and not tilting our head. We turn and slide. There's a slight press on the chin rest. And there you go. You can move your hand freely without worrying your violin will fly out, because it does, the cushion here does give you some friction against your body, and actually it's quite hard to pull it out. So, well, do this exercise and watch this video carefully and see how I fix on the shoulder rest with the correct angle. This will also change bad posture. Some students, I realize, they are still playing with the violin in front of them this way because the shoulder rest is not sitting in the correct position. It's not even on my shoulder. Can you see that? So this exercise will help them put their shoulder rest properly and put the violin on the shoulder rest before fixing on to let them see how it goes. Okay, instead of fixing the violin first and then put it on top. Okay, so till then, that's all. Goodbye.